And we're live from downtown Mill Bay, and we bring you a lesson already in. Pardon?
Isn't that just H2O?
Yeah, which is
water.
Yeah, yeah, and all those things I said about it are true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just water.
That's just water. H2O.
So because the positive one always comes.
So is it hot?
No, it is H2O. But the reason I like that is because it technically, I mean, it's H plus and OH minus, which is acid and base. Acid and base make water. It is HOH in many ways. But water is an incredibly common compound, and we write it as H2O because that's just how we do.
But it is also hot.
You could write HA.
So if I were to write hot on a test, would I be correct?
That'd be fine. Yeah, it'd work. It'd be a little weird, but it's fine. Not wrong.
I'm never writing H2O. Hot.
Right, hot. And then there's the company, I didn't understand it. They write this for their symbol. And I'm like, why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense at all. Stop it.
Have you memorized the headache?
Yeah.
Sure. Then why used to do the worksheet?
Because there's nothing else to do.
Then we did all this. I did like 2 months ago. You're such a sweat.
There's nothing to do in class, bro. Why was I gonna do? Hop on Ball Stars,
I'm
bro?
not hearing you out, but you're a sweat.
I was gonna hop on Ball Stars or something.
You're going to hop on Brawl Stars.
You play Brawl Stars?
I do not.
You should start.
I hear it's quite good.
Yeah, you can play with your perfect boys.
Your perfect boys? What?
Your perfect boys.
Oh, yeah, they play all the time.
Yeah.
You can run fives with them, Mr. Yeah, you let Julian, Gigi, Asian, and Zach Young carry you. They're gonna start shouting at each other like mid-match.
Oops.
mind helping.
Okay. Take a look at the board. Write down your number. Everybody has their number? Excellent. You are responsible for the boxes with your number. I wonder if we could do... No, that's probably silly. Is that better? So we can see more. One second, loud before you do it.
My bad.
Really good.
Yeah,
Two,
fumbling.
Hey, I'm fumbling.
go
bro.
there.
That's my bad, bro.
Let's go.
One.
Okay. And the pens are down here. 2 pens.
Oh.
2 pens. And let's change the color to something other
How many
than red.
people can
Whoop.
write at the same time? It is call.
Stop for a second. There we go. When the board is free,
You got
you can
16?
pop up. You don't need to line up. You can just keep working on the sheet until you have a moment.
Wait.
Only 2 people at a
Don't
time.
you
when
want
you
to
write
roll?
properly.
No. You like 4 or 5.
I only got 4. What? So if I get 4, do I have to do all?
All
Oh,
4.
there's. You did it. Oh, okay. Wait, why should you say like weird stuff?
Can I
No,
switch
it's-
to the eraser?
it's the same question.
I'm switching to the eraser really quick.
Hey,
Look, I'm erasing, bro. I'm sorry. Hey, wait, I erased. Okay, now you can write. My bad. Ain't no way, Chico. And a what is it? 2 S O.
I think there's more 1 more.
Okay, where's 4? You scroll down. Okay,
Oh,
scroll down.
you cannot do that. Where's 4?
Oh, thank you. Oh, why is it? What is this, Sal?
What? It's not me.
If
I'm
you're standing and waiting, you can sit
What
and
is-
continue to work on the
Or
work.
no,
I've
okay.
finished my
Okay.
sheet.
Okay.
I,
Wow, 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 wow. Okay.
I honestly do.
What's HCO?
Oh, this is so weird.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta do this one.
I didn't know it was a pen.
Oh, use the pens rather than your fingers.
Wait, would this be N O
They're magnetic. They're at the bottom of the board. There you go.
Would it be N E?
2 people can write at the same time.
Think again.
Pens.
Like, look at the charges. Then look at the sheet.
That's 3.
Oh, they come with charges.
So it's like pen and C O. C O 3.
Oh yeah. Nitrite is NO2
Oh, thank you. Any numbers?
HS.
Oh,
Sulfide or sulfite?
Sulfide. Are we doing quick?
Like D.
I know. ID.
Yeah.
Sulfide.
Yeah,
Sulfide
that's
is HS.
HS minus.
HS minus.
Yeah, minus
Bisulfide.
Yeah.
Bisulfide is HS minus.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the
Can I
element.
use your pen?
No, no, that's
I need
sulfur.
we gotta do one more.
Sulfur.
Yeah, but like
Is
as
it
in
after
in
you
the end,
finish?
like
Yeah, no.
if it's combined with any like normal thing,
Yeah.
it's just sulfur.
No, any metal.
Yeah, any metal. In the ionic bond. Also, if it's the second one in a covalent bond,
Yeah.
where it only has one of it.
Oh, 3. Yeah, 3.
PO3. PO4 3 minus.
No, it's PO3.
No, it's PO4.
PO4 3 minus.
Yeah. PO4 3 minus. It's
And what else the MnO3 minus? What number?
MnO3 minus.
Yeah.
Per manganese.
MnO4.
MnO4?
Yeah, I guess it's per manganese.
Kevin got it.
It goes to Kevin. Who's per manganese? I found that crazy. You know that.
I think his name's Kyle.
No. Okay, is it? PO4.
Where did the 4 go for your SO4?
Who wants this?
Thank you.
We need to erase it, bro.
I don't care.
Wait.
Dude, I got the best printer on the board.
Bro, I swear you smell dye, bro. I swear dye people have this one scent. You have it.
What?
You have it. The dye scent.
Okay, there's another 11.
The Thai accent.
No scent. You smell it.
I smell like a Thai person.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know.
Yo.
I don't know.
What's that meant to be?
I don't. I didn't. I never knew Thai people had a distinct smell.
Because like y'all use the same.
I think there's another 11.
Yes, it's used somewhere. No, I swear, I
CA.
never seen it back in the day.
Yeah, I don't even know, bro. I never actively smell people.
True, true.
Oh, one more? Zinc? Zinc what? Zinc 04.
How do you scroll down?
Yo, choose. So, bro.
I know it. I know HSO.
Do you want a pen? Yeah.
What's off?
Oh, plus the X.
Is there another?
Okay, what's sound? Carbonate. CO3. Chromium. Just CrO4. CrO4. Oh. What's that? Oh, okay. What's ethanol? It's just acetate CH3COO.
And who's number 10? You've got one more.
I'm on it. Just keep doing it, bro. Bro, if you give up on like trying to remember it, you're not gonna be able to recall it. Actively recall it.
Okay. Are you good? If you didn't complete the rest, that's fine. I'll post the answers. However, this allows enough just to go over any common mistakes that people make. One is looks good. Na2, Na3, Na. So sodium goes to the thing. We don't have to worry about too many brackets there. Now this one we need brackets. This is +1, and that is -2. So I don't know where that 3 came from. This one is pretending that this is +2. There's no 2 on there. I'm not sure what happened.
Because the person who did that, like,
Or they read it wrong. So
That's what we'll walk in, bro.
that's a 3. Put a bracket there. That 2 would come down, and we do need them all in brackets. It's really common, and I was really pleased to see. If you wrote this CaOH2 and you didn't put in the brackets, it's a very common first error. I don't know why it's common for hydroxide when it's not common for something like, say, phosphate. But I think it has to do that there isn't already a number there. And so when you put the 2 there, it kind of looks normal. But you do need brackets with hydroxide, and everybody here did it when it needed it, so that was really well done. Go through. We left off the 4 from SO4 in that one. I don't know if that was just dropped. But don't drop the numbers. Those numbers stay. They're part of it. SNH4, NH4, NO3 on the end. 2. I don't know what's going on with that one. But it should just be CO3. I think it actually is. I'm just having difficulty reading it. Now this one is technically correct, but someone might quibble. What would they quibble about? The O is really small. That could be an entirely different element if there is an element with SO. So just make sure you don't reduce their size. Other than that, there are some who seem to really like doing that, I know, as a style. But other than that, that was really well. Dropping the size of the second one. So if you're writing like carbon dioxide, some people as a style just will make the other one smaller, and that's no longer carbon dioxide, that's dicobalt. And so you need to be careful about that because you can change the identity if you alter the size. Who knows? Change the identity if you alter the size. Are you actually the same person you were when you were 6 years old? In fact, are you two even related? Eight versus 8, we already went over this. 8 means the standard. Ite is 1 less. Hypo is 1 less oxygen than ite, and it's always hypo something ite. You always have these ones together. You never use it with 8. And per is 1 more in the areas that you will encounter it. Got a couple examples there. So very quickly, I'm going to ask a bunch of you what those are. You can have your data table in front of you for this. Although theoretically, they should be memorized.
Phosphite.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just PO3, no?
So, Jaden, what's the first one?
Oh, bicarbonate.
Bicarbonate?
HCO minus.
No. Close.
Oh, CO3 minus.
CO3 minus. So don't forget the 3. It does need it. Guy, what's permanganate? MnO4.
O minus 1.
-1. Always include the charge. Natsuho, phosphate.
PO4 3
Minus.
Yer.
Just learned that.
Yer.
Isaac, phosphite. PO3 3 minus. Is that in your table?
No. But
No, but you can now do it. Carbonate would then be Cu, CO3 2 minus, which means we can do carbonite. Is carbonite in your table?
No.
No, but we do know it because it's famous. Sterling?
Carbonite,
Yeah.
CO2.
2 negative. Where do we know carbonite from? It's famous. It's the stuff that Han Solo was frozen in.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Carbonite, which means it must be this. I mean, it couldn't have been, but that's not the point. Okay, formulate a name. We still need to check for things like Roman numerals, because now that we're putting everything together. So I'm going to just go through these quick, and I'm going to ask them in a series of questions so that I give everybody a chance. First one, does magnesium need Roman numerals? So,
Nope.
nope. So no Roman numerals?
No.
If it doesn't need Roman numerals, you could pretty much go straight to naming at that point. So see who? Oh, picked again. What would the name of this be? What's the metal? Magnesium. And what's the second part? Oh, you have your data booklet right there. What's OH? Hydroxide. So you just look up the name for the polyatomic, and it's a matter of recognizing it's a polyatomic. If it's more than one thing, it's going to be guaranteed to be a polyatomic. So, next one. Tyler, does copper need Roman numerals?
No.
No. Yes.
Oh wait, never mind. Yes.
Yeah. Why, but now I'll follow up. Why does it need Roman numerals?
Oh, because it's inside.
It's inside those. So as a reminder, these ones are the only ones that don't. So we're going to go back to here. Now, so I'm going to then ask you, reverse crisscross this. What are the charges on each if we reverse crisscross it?
Would it be 4 and then 3?
Ah, I'm glad you did that. It's wrong.
He's so spiffy.
Why is it wrong?
That was so spiffy.
Because one's negative.
Nope. Hey, one has to be negative. What polyatomic is that? And what is the formula of phosphate?
PO4.
PO4. So this cannot be crisscrossed. So whenever you see a polyatomic, here, let's go back to the table. And students do that all the time. You and I set that up ahead of time for you to deliberately make that mistake. Because what is the charge on this potassium?
Or +1.
+1. And yet you'd think it was 4. And that's because whenever we have this, the invisible bracket and a 1 is there. So you can't touch those. So when we crisscross, we have to recognize it's an invisible bracket and a 1, and then this becomes +1. Does that make sense? You were away for a lot of this as well. So, Isabel, what would the full name be? Excellent. What time are we at for? Oh, we got lots. Zal,
Yeah.
does this need Roman numerals?
That.
Yeah.
No.
God, I hope not. It's polyatomic. So what would you name that then? We can go straight to naming.
Ammonium sulfite.
Do you spell your sulfite with a PH or an F?
Yes, I read it.
PH, nice. A little bit more erudite, I find.
Exactly. Seems cool.
Seems, yeah.
It is cool.
Kiona? Naming that one. Yeah. Nicely done. Boom. Okay. At this point, we're just going from name to formula then. You put down the ions here, and then from there, you can go directly to the formula if you'd like. If you want to go through all the middle steps, you can as well. I'll ask a couple people for the answers, work through them in just a moment. And for today's quiz, I gave it to you on Friday, I think.
Yeah.
But the other class, they got announced the quiz on Saturday, and then they wrote it Monday. So I made a deal with them as well because they didn't have any preps in between, and you can have the same deal because I'll be doing it with everybody. If you do poorly on today's quiz and you would like to rewrite it, you can go back any tutorial and I'll give you a new one. I can make so many different copies of the same quiz. It just automatically generates a random version. So if you don't do well today, just come see me during the tutorial. I'll let you do it again. It's just a simple memorization exercise. So if you have time to do that a little later on, I am perfectly happy to do that. It's a bit like a math teacher saying, I want you to memorize your times table. Come and show me that you've done it, and you're good to go. Yay. In BC, they've stopped requiring students to learn their times tables.
Actually.
Yeah. Except the teachers, having 2 children gone through it, will now pull you aside and say, we're not allowed to officially sign this, but make them learn their times table. And then you do it at home.
Why would you not learn your times table?
I don't know. Although, to be fair, I never learned all of mine. I learned half of it.
What's 7 times 3?
21.
Okay.
But the reason I know that is because I never learned the odd ones. So what I do is 7 times 4 is 28, minus 7 is 21, so that's 7 times 3.
You got your university left?
That's like the long.
I got through university counting on my fingers. As long as you can do it.
They don't teach phonics anymore.
Okay,
Island phonics.
Yeah, I know, but like
Gee.
in America they don't anymore.
can you give me the symbols and charges for these? Okay.
And then
And what's hydroxide? OH minus 1.
so then it would be FeOH3.
Like, something,
And then we have iron would have like
iron would have what?
like theory, like the Roman.
No, that's in the name. So the formula doesn't, the formula doesn't have it. There is something missing. If I write FeOH3, this says there's 3 H's, but it doesn't say that there's 3 hydroxides.
Put in a bracket.
Put in brackets. Good. What are you talking about socialism and communism for? First of all, after class, if we want to, as an extra, we can seize the means of production, and then fully try communism.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Later. We'll do it later, though. Later. We'll do it as an exercise. But that sounds like social studies, and everybody knows that social studies isn't real.
Wow.
I say that as someone who should have paid no more attention to social studies, because I was in my 30s before I learned that Korea and Norway are not next to each other.
You told us that.
Yeah. So pay attention in class. They sometimes teach you things. Ariel, what are the symbols and charges for these?
NH4 plus.
NH4 plus,
CO3 minus.
CO3 minus 2. And then someone else. Let's go with Isaac. What's the final formula? Fe what? We're doing this one. Sorry, NH4. Like that? In brackets, perfect. Okay. And to go through it all the way, what number goes into both? Well, 3, so we need plus 3 minus 3, which means we need a ratio of 1 to 3. Note the ratio. We have 1 to 2, so what number goes into both? Plus 2 minus 2, so we need 2 to 1, and we note the ratio, and that's what we get. We have officially done. There's some practice on here. I have posted a pre-quiz or practice quiz where you can type on Kia and it will ask you for formula and name. That's one of the ones where it has like, well, I keep saying 54,000 questions, but only 30,000 are probably ionic. There's like 20,000 that are covalent, so it's only 30,000 questions. Not all the charges are on your periodic table. So it gives you Roman numerals for charges of elements that aren't there. So if you look at something and it says selenium, not selenium, cobalt can be +7, it is +7 in the example, even if it isn't there. Since we're at the end, give you your quiz now. When you're done, hand it in to me, and then you can continue working on practice. If you feel like you've got this and you're doing really well, also come up. I will, at the end here, give you a little lesson in some organic naming, which is a completely separate naming that you can do as a bonus, because we have a little bit of time left that you can do for extra, if you'd like. So put everything away, including your data table.
Bro, I already forgot everything. Bro, it's like, bro, and I did it on my Mandarin worksheet too.
But I am going to ask one more question. Natsuho, which pairing of letters do you like? From A through F. Would you like A, B, C, F? What 2 letters would you like? C, E. C, E it is. Oh dear. Never mind. I thought it printed out like all the A's, all the B's. It printed out A, B, C, D, E, F, A, B, C, D, E, F. So to separate that out would be insane. However, I will make sure you get version C.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Okay, everything away off your desks. Start as soon as you get it. Hand it in as soon as you're done, and then you can just continue doing the practice, both on the board and your notes, and what was, there you go. Separate out a little.
On Kia.
If there is more than one name for any compound,
Just one.
you can use either one. Don't put both. You just have twice
Wow.
the chance of
It's
getting
the
it
rate of
wrong.
36.
Oh, I skipped you for some reason.
It's the rate of 36.
Also,
Fifth.
What's the date?
Fifth.
it doesn't matter the date, just put the block.
Oh, date B.
If you can get the same question twice, because it'll ask you what, say, a compound formula is, and it does that sometimes because it's just picking randomly and it knows it has 2 names. It's looking for both names. You can use the same name on both. It's still correct. It's just the computer being stupid. So you just got a slightly easier version. Wait a minute. Did I do any versions? No, I got A. Would you like to see?
Jaden. My team is by 8%. I don't know. John, Trevor, who? Yeah, let him do it. Yeah, I don't do that. Yeah. Let him do it. Rochelle's good, but Trevor's a generative AI demon. John is John. I don't know, maybe Sunny. Will Cooper. Is that? Not Sunny, bro. I don't know. I know the only one who I know for sure is good Sunny and Joe.
Ooh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, Sunny and Joe.
Honey?
I don't know, bro. Like he's good at research, but like his actual like writing is like not that good. Sorry. Okay. Okay, big boy. Yeah, that's basically it. Just something that you have to do. It's just gonna be more big. That's not Russell, like, everybody's
Did you write the last quiz? Were you going? Did you get my email last night or testing? Okay. It's the reaction. Oh, okay. Yeah.
The synthesis, I'm actually good at
I was a little confused by your question. So you don't know which word you use. You don't know now.
Let me see if it's in the word.
Left wing is liver.
Oh, do you know where left wing liberals come from? No. They come from the French court. The people who sat to the keys
It
were
is better. I'm just using this
anti-loyalists.
shit.
So more anti-loyalists, like people who sat
Well,
to
like,
the right
website
were like
is better
pro-tradition,
if you're
pro.
working in a group. If
So,
you're like trying to format it
Left
specifically.
usually means
With this, you can just like
newer, modern. Right is usually refers to traditional, older. And then however that plays out in terms of politics.
you know, it's
No, but that's left.
I mean, like, yeah.
There's
Like,
like,
a dictatorship would be right.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go on my
but-
hardest grind.
yeah, it gets complicated in that.
Authoritarian. And right when you like
Hardest
Republican.
grind. I know this. Like, am I on my hardest grind?
Right.
I'm on my hardest grind.
But like digital, it's so easy.
It is.
Redneck sounds
Like, coloring is so easy on digital art, but like the actual drawing is
Okay.
like, but you don't have to rub it out a lot. You can just undo. I love that. Literally, this is me. When I do digital art, I just keep drawing.
Is there anybody still writing I haven't seen? Is there anybody that would like a quick lesson in organics? Then come on up if you would. I'll give you a little extra. There'll be an extra little piece in the next quiz if you'd like it.
I get that perfect line for like 10 seconds.
So these organic
I need a lot of
things are made from carbon and lactose. And then other things, basically carbon. Organic things are usually made of pretty much these carbohydrate, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus. And the first thing we do is there's a name for the first 10 things that are straight lines of carbon. So if you just have one carbon with 4 hydrogens, you're methane. That's literally methane gas. Ethane gas is 2 carbons. Propane is stuff you have in a propane tank. 3 carbons. I stop drawing the hydrogens. Carbon only has 4 bonds, so even when I don't draw them, you know, like, oh, it's carbon at once. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can count all those hydrogens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because there's always 3 in the end. It's always going to be, what's the formula? C1H4, C2H6. There's the formula. You do that for all of them. So you got methane, ethane, propane. That's butane, like a butane lighter. So we start getting some liquids here. Pentane, 5 carbons. And then 6 carbons is hexane. So it starts to make sense now. Up to here, it was kind of individualized. But pentane, 5 carbons. Hexane, 6 carbons. I completely skipped 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to squeeze that in there. C7, it would be C7H16. And what would its name be? Very close. Heptane. Not septane because they're not French, but it's the same root because they both come from Latin. Octane. And this is what they talk about, higher octane levels in gas, which change at least that long. And then that would be non-ate. And then that one would be decane. What's this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, this is also non-ate. And this is to show I got lazy and I stopped writing the hydrogens. Eventually, biochemists, because you do so many things with carbon, get lazy and they stop writing the carbons. Every point is a carbon. So carbon, 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 carbon. It's just so when you see this, if you've ever seen that in like a textbook or something, that means. Oops. And it's just a way of really simply drawing the structure without having to put carbon in. Because carbon is everywhere, you don't feel the need to put it. They only put in the things that aren't carbon. And they'll do that to show, oh, it's got an oxygen. And then they do that, and it's got a carbon. And then the hydrogens are thrown in. Okay, so we've named those. So that way, now, one of these things is that when you make those, they're kind of floppy. So, if you have this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that is pentane. It doesn't matter as long as you can get a straight chain. It's pentane. You build a model of it. It's also floppy and they move around. But where you get into trouble in naming is because this is very well and good for straight lines, but if I have something like this, if I count the hydrogens, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is C4H10. Can we call it butane? Are those, no, those are not the same structure. So this can't be butane. What is the longest chain? Propane. So we would call that propane. It is a type of propane because it has 3 carbons. It's only in a chain. So we got, it's a propane. But now we have to deal with this thing. If you just have 1 carbon, what would you call it?
Mono.
Methane. But it's not the longest carbon chain, so it's not as important. So we actually change it to methyl. So this would be 2-methyl propane. It's because it's on the second carbon. Because if we had a carbon like this, and we would go over here, let's say we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's the longest carbon? But this is a real object in space. Why can't we count from that side? Yeah, so you counted from here, but if we were looking at this from the other side of the board, we would count from there, and a molecule would flip. So the rule is we count from the the side that gives us the smallest numbers. Butyl? How many carbons are in it? 3. Propyl. 2 propyl. 2 3 ethyl. And then, what order should we put them in the name? Should it be ethyl and then propyl, or propyl and then ethyl? Why? That makes a lot of sense, and I actually had an instructor who did that. But they didn't. IUPAC said alphabetical order, because everybody knows what that is. So it's 3 ethyl, 2 propyl, pentane. Except it's not. It is a heptane, and it is it is 3 ethyl, 4 methyl, and we just put a dash between letters. Heptane. How did I get that? It's the same structure. Is there another way of looking at it? It might help me like take off. Oh. Yes. Oh, even longer. Yeah. So you have to pick out the longest chain because again, they're fluffy. So they can bend, and so you go, oh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 ethyl, 4 methyl. Because you number from the side that gives you the smallest number.
These are all blood. They're all blood.
Oh yeah. Okay. Wait, so that was the correct one?
Yeah, that's the correct one.
So this was wrong.
That was wrong, but you were following all the rules. It was fun, and I wouldn't be going to stop you because I just gave you like 5 days of organic chem like that. Because the first thing we do is we give you that and we say memorize. Then we give you some straight chains with one thing on it, and I went straight to putting 2 things on it and trying to find the longest chain. So you had a lot of things all at once. But yeah, the first thing would be to name things. You just have to memorize those. Because once you have those, you have all of the rules in terms of names and the numbering. That's probably enough. But then you can get into things like it's 3. So its root would be propane. Yeah, which one do you want? Because it doesn't make a difference.
Wait, would it be 2 propyl propane?
Oh, I see what you're doing. You're going like this. No, if that's say the chain, then would it be 2 methyls? But what carbon are they on? So 2 methyl, 2 methyl. Yeah, they will want some way to make that double. So what carbon is it on? It's on 2. They're both on 2. And there's 2 of them. 2,2-dimethylpropane.
Wait, okay, if it was like, butane, and then you add this one on the third.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's do that. And then you're going to move this one to there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it would be 2, 3.
Yep.
Dimethylpropane.
Not propane. You can change it to butane. Yeah, perfect. If this didn't exist, it would be a butane, but it would be just 2-methylbutane, because the other one doesn't exist, it would be floppy. Because if you make, so I have some of the, if you make some of them, like you just make the models, you'll notice that they're really floppy. And so they can rotate and squish into all sorts of ways. We draw them straight so we can make sense of them, but they, in the real life, they're really floppy. Double bonds provide stiffness, and single bonds are really moving. Butane.
That was the BNA Act. Oh, yeah. No, the
I'll post something on that with a few questions if you'd like, and then I can add those questions. Or if not, they just enjoy it, that's fine too. We do this in Chem 11. Sometimes we skip it if we don't have enough time. But it is one of those areas like biochem. There's a lot of work in biochem and in the university. So it's handy to know to be able to read its own things.
Separate Britain from Canada. Yeah.
Oh,
What?
that's, yep, that one. That is the notes. We did balancing and the nomenclature worksheet.
Yeah, it gave us.
It's also close, it's a big stack of 5 of them,
Yeah.
but that one only uses the first one, like number 1.
It gave citizens freedom.
Let's see, I swear I have actually. Do you have the stack?
I probably have it, yeah.
Check,
I
and
know
just,
ideology.
there's extra balancing in there too. And then simple balancing, like not even Roman, not balancing, not even Roman numerals. Before you go, just so you know, you know the naming worksheets that are like labeled 1 through 5? You should be able to do up to 4 now. Because it started with no Roman numerals, polyatomics. I believe we're up to number 4. Number 5 is covalence, which we're going to do next day.
No, bro.
Go check, like that's, I will keep checking here. They literally move these around on me. So,
Big
and
7 on.
if you're coming back a tutorial, I can always do one on. But they are posted on the Google Classroom as well.
Me and Nick are going to see our again? Yes. Well, I make bowling this every time. Because he likes, yeah, he likes also the house I have there. In Ontario, right? Okay, Jada. Okay, Rich Canada.
So many.
Yeah, the house in
You're welcome.
Well, not in Seattle, it's on Washington.
Well, last night I saw a whole study.
Hey, I'm not like that.
So many.
Well, this is why you're gonna fail.
What? No, like what?
Where's
I'm not
Mr.
rich
Duval?
like that.
I can just print it out.
Okay.
Okay, but like.
Alright, thank you.
I had like a whole stack, so I'm just more irritated right now.
Yeah, all good.
Maybe they got recycled. Hello, how are you? Not too bad. So much fun.
Really?
So much fun. Polyatomic naming.